Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Students, in our past paper discussion, we are doing second chapter of grade 10. Right? Before I go to third question, we have to do the third question. From the third question, right? Before I go to the third question, in the second question, the question from 1983 O-level paper, right? The graph is there. In the graph we have given up to 60 seconds, right? And the velocity as 6 meter second minus 1, right? In the discussion section, I think Hafsa gave me a small suggestion. In the second statement, sorry, the third statement, the velocity of the object definitely would be 12 meter second minus 1 when the time is time t is equal to 120. And when this reach 120, if this continues further, right, it's going to be 12 meter second minus 1. Since there are no guarantee to guaranteeing the question that this line is continuing further, right? Therefore, this part is not definitely can be expected, right? Therefore, we can consider the statement C as wrong statement as well, right? In this question, in this year, they have considered the C as wrong. Therefore, we will also consider the C as wrong. But when we are discussing on the C, we discussed somehow a theory, right? Some theory has been discussed. Therefore, it's not lost for us, right? We'll continue the questions, right? Question number 3. Question from 1985. Right? Question from 1985 O level. A cart is pulled by a bull on a straight road with a uniform speed. The resultant force acted on the cart is, right? They are saying that the cart is going with a uniform speed, right? The cart is going with a uniform speed, right? If the cart is going with the uniform speed, right? Therefore, the force given by the bull, right? It's going to be equal to the frictional force, right? Frictional force which is given by the floor on the cart, right, is going to be equal. Then only it can go with the uniform velocity, right? First, you should know two terms related to this question. One is the uniform velocity. The second one is accelerational motion. Acceleration, right? Newton's first law tells us about the uniform velocity, and the second law tells us about the acceleration, right? What is the second law? The force is equal to mass into acceleration. The meaning of that is, if an object has a mass, right? If you are considering an object, that object should have a mass, right? If an object has a mass, right? If that object is accelerating, if an acceleration is there, right, then the ma, the value of ma is going to be there. The product of these two is going to be there, right? That is going to be the F. This F is not just F, just force. This is a resultant force, right? Resultant force, or in other words, we can say unbalanced force. Unbalanced force, right? We can say this as resultant force or unbalanced force, right? Therefore, if an unbalanced force is there, right, from this equation we can say if an unbalanced force is there, right? For a mass, there should be an acceleration. If here the acceleration is 0, right? If the acceleration is 0, then F is going to be 0, or no unbalanced force is there, right? Then the F is going to be 0, then the product of these two is going to be 0. This cannot be 0 because for an object there should be a mass, then this should be 0 to make it 0, right? Therefore, if no unbalanced force, no acceleration. If unbalanced force is there, acceleration is there. Okay, the short form. That is the first law, right? In the first law of Newton says us no unbalanced force, right? Here the second law says us the unbalanced force, right? With no unbalanced force, the object which is in the rest will be in the rest, right? The object which is going with a velocity, it remains with the same velocity, right? That is the uniform velocity. Okay, when the object having an unbalanced force, right, then the object is going to accelerate. Okay, now go to the question. A cart is pulled by a bull on a straight road with a uniform speed, going with a uniform speed, uniform velocity, right? The resultant force acted on the cart is, right, when this is possible, when the resultant force is 0, right? When the resultant force is 0, right? Then the first answer, the resultant force is 0. That's correct, right? We'll see the rest of the answer as well, right? Because those three answers are going to give us a little bit of knowledge about the resultant force, I think, right? Equal to the force exerted by the bull. The resultant force is equal to the force exerted by the bull, right? In other terms, they are saying there is a resultant force which is equal to the force which is given by the bull, right? Which means the resultant force is there. If the resultant force is there, then the acceleration also going to be there. Then it cannot be moved with the uniform velocity. Then the second answer is wrong. The force is greater than the force exerted by the bull, right? The force greater than the force exerted by the bull. It cannot be done. Even this bull is accelerating, or the cart is accelerating, right? It cannot be, the resultant force cannot be more than the force exerted by the bull, because if the force exerted by the bull is 10 Newton, right? If the frictional force is there about 5 Newton, right? Then the 10 minus 5 always going to be the resultant force. Then the resultant force always going to have a product or have a value which is subtracted, value subtracted from the given force by the bull, right? Some value is going to be subtracted, not going to be added, right? If the value is going to be subtracted, always the resultant force is going to be less than the force which is given by the bull. Okay, then the force is greater than the force exerted by the bull cannot be, right? The force is less than the force exerted by the bull, right? It's possible, but for this instant it's not possible, because we need uniform velocity, not the resultant force. If the resultant force is there, right, then we can't get the uniform velocity. Therefore, the fourth answer also a wrong answer, right, due to this question, right? We move to question number 4. Question number 4. 1987 O-level question from the MCQ. Which of the following is the correct SI unit of acceleration? Which of the following is the correct SI unit of acceleration? Unit of acceleration. What is unit of acceleration? Acceleration, the equation for the acceleration is equal to the final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time taken, right? Then the unit product of this is going to be meter second minus 1, right, divided by second, it's going to be meter second minus 2, right? When we are writing the units, we have to consider, right, there should be a small distance which have lived in between two units, right? Two components of the unit. Okay, when we are writing the prefix, no gaps should be lived, right? For an example, kilometer, it should be written closer, right? If kilometer hour minus 1, the hour is another unit, the unit of, this is a unit of another physical quantity. Therefore, you have to leave a gap and you have to write like this, kilometer hour minus 1, right? Then this, the in between the prefix and the unit, there shouldn't be a gap. In between two units of two separate physical quantities, there should be a gap, right? There should be a small gap. If you write like this is not a gap, right? This is a boku, right? You can write anything in between these two. Okay, now don't leave like this, right? Leave a small gap and write the units. Okay, the unit is given there. another unit that can be considered, right, which is very similar to the acceleration. From the equation which related with the acceleration is equal to F over m, right? We can say for the F as Newton and for the m as kilogram, right? Then the unit of acceleration can be written as like this as well, Newton per kilogram, right? Newton per kilogram also a unit of acceleration, but this is not oftenly used, right? Therefore don't use this. If a question given in the MCQ, like which is which are the pair of units of which are the pair of units which has given in the question, given in the answer, are related to acceleration, right? They can give a pair of these two, right? Then you have to give the answer. That's why I am introducing this. This is correct, but this is not often used, right? Then that is the question from 1987. Right, question number 5, same from 1987 O level. The following stripe shows the position of oil drops leaked out from a vehicle. One drop oil is leaked from the vehicle in each second, right? In each second, right? The interval between the drops, right, is 1 second. Which is the correct statement from the following regarding the motion of the vehicle, right? Now the vehicle is moving in this side, right? From here the gap is reducing. Okay, now first drop has been dropped here, the second drop here, third drop here, fourth drop here, right? Now think, if a vehicle is here, you have a vehicle, a drop of oil has been left by the vehicle, right, while it moves, right? Now the object is moving in this direction, the vehicle is moving in this direction. If this is accelerating, right, time to time, right, the distance covered by the vehicle is going to be increased second to second, because the second to second the velocity is increasing. Therefore, if the first drop is here and the second drop is here, then the third drop is going to be somewhere here, the fourth drop is going to be somewhere here, because the velocity is increasing. Fifth drop is going to be somewhere here. Then the pattern of the oil drop is going to be like this, right? Then the same as like this. Initially small gap, and continuously the drop is increasing. Right now, this is not the first drop, this is the first drop, right? Therefore, we can say this motion as what? Accelerating motion, right? If this is the decelerating, what is going to be happen? First drop is going to be here. If the second drop is somewhere here, the third drop should be somewhere here. Fourth drop is going to be here. The gap is going to be reduced. Why? This is decelerating, right? If it is going with the uniform velocity, the gap is going to be equal continuously, because it's going uniformly, right? Second to second, the distance covered is equal, right? When it decelerates second to second, the distance covered is going to be reduced, right? Therefore, the gap between the drop also going to be reduced. Okay, then we go to the answer. The vehicle has moved with the uniform velocity. Wrong. With the uniform velocity, the pattern should be like this. The vehicle moved with an acceleration. That is correct. The vehicle has moved with the deceleration. With the deceleration, then the pattern is going to be like this, right? No comments about the motion. No comments about the motion, right? No, we can comment it, right? Then the acceleration and motion is the correct answer. Okay, we move to question number 6. Question number 6, 1988 O-level question. A bug moves in a circular path with a radius of 7 cm. It starts from point A and comes back to the A to finish. The distance and the displacement moved by the bug respectively. Right? It's moving with a circular in a circular path, starting with the point A, coming back to the point A. The radius of 7 centimeters. Right? Distance and displacement. The displacement means the shortest distance between initial and final point. This is the initial point. Again, the final point also the same. Right? Therefore, the shortest distance between the initial and final point is going to be 0. And the displacement is 0. Right? Where the displacement is 0. In the question answer number 1 and 2, right? We have the displacement as 0. Right? The distance. What is the distance? Distance means the total length of the journey, right? The total length of the journey is going to be the distance. Therefore, the total length is going to be the length of this perimeter, right? Therefore, the value is going to be 2 pi r, 2 into pi into r. And the answer is first. Right? We move to 7th question. Question number 7, 1988 O-level question. Which is the correct velocity time graph for the motion of an object thrown vertically downwards with an initial velocity of u? Right? An object thrown vertically downwards with the initial velocity of u. Right? Now, think about an object which has been dropped. Right? Which means the initial velocity is 0. What is going to happen? The velocity is going to increase. Why the velocity is increasing? Because of the acceleration due to gravity. Gravitational acceleration. Right? Because gravitational force is acting on this object, right? That force is the resultant force which is acting on this object, right? We are calling that as the weight of the object, right? Due to this weight of the object, due to the gravitational force, there will be a gravitational acceleration, because that gravitational force is going to act as a resultant force, right? Therefore, F is equal to ma. If this is there, then the multiple of these two is going to be have a value, right? Therefore, the A cannot be 0. It should have a value, right? And the ma is going to be have a value. then this A always going to be G. The value of G is 10 meter second minus 2, right? Accurately, it's going to be 9.8 meter second minus 2, right? Roughly we are taking as 10 meter second minus 2, right? Now this is moving with an acceleration. Acceleration means what? This is going to increase its velocity continuously. When it reaches the ground, it's going to have the maximum velocity, right? At this point there will be a velocity which is lesser than this, greater than this value, right? Okay, now think, now this is not, this object is not dropped, right? Now this object is thrown. What is going to happen? Continuously velocity is going to be increased, right? Since the velocity when it reaches the ground, right, is v dash, this v dash is more than this v, because it's already when this has been thrown, right, the initial velocity is already there, right? From that velocity only the velocity is going to increase second to second, right? But here it's going to start from the 0, right? But here it's going to start from a value, right? Then continuously by increasing the velocity, this velocity is going to be less than this velocity. Okay, right? Now if you plot the graph, two things are going to be considered in the velocity time graph. When you are drawing a graph, two things you have to consider. The first is the axis, right? In the axis, the vertical axis, right, who is the representative of the vertical axis, and this is belongs to which quantity, right? Whether it is vector quantity or a scalar quantity, right? Here the velocity is a vector quantity. Vector quantity means either sides should be considered. The sides should be considered, right? Now the velocity, now it's increasing. Okay, then the graph should have to start from a lower part to and end with a higher part, right? The velocity should increase. The increasing velocity, the second part of the graph that you should consider is the gradient of the graph. What is the gradient of velocity time graph? That is acceleration, right? If acceleration is not changing, right, it's not changing, acceleration not changing, no, velocity is not changing, right? The acceleration is not changing mean, right, the velocity is increasing. Since the velocity increment is uniform, right, therefore the gradient of the velocity time graph, right, cannot be changed, right? When the acceleration is constant, then the graph is going to be like this with a straight line, right? Now think about the acceleration changes. Now acceleration is decreasing, right? If the acceleration is decreasing, right, the graph is going to come like this, because at the starting point the acceleration is going to measured by the gradient of this graph, right? Time to time the gradient should decrease, therefore the graph should have a curve like this. If the acceleration is increasing, the value of the acceleration is increasing, then the graph is going to be like this. Don't worry about these two types of graph, but keep this in your mind, right? It may help you when you are doing exams, right? But since you should know when the acceleration is constant, the graph should have this pattern, right? Now look at this. Here the acceleration due to gravity is not changing until the object reaches the ground, right? Continuously the value is going to be 9.8. Therefore this is a type of motion which belongs to the constant acceleration, right? Then the pattern of the graph should be like this. It should start with the velocity and end up with the velocity. Now what will happen when a graph is drawn for this occasion, when the initial velocity is 0, the pattern is going to be the same. The slope also going to be same, then because the value of this, the slope is going to be 9.8 or 10 meter second minus 2. Right, slope is same, but it should start with the 0 because the initial velocity is 0. Right? When the graph started, the velocity is 0. Then it should be started from the 0, but the gradient should be equal to this, because the gradient of the velocity time curve is acceleration. Here the acceleration is the acceleration due to gravity in the both the occasions, right? Therefore this is going to be 10 meter second minus 2, right? Then the slope is going to be equal, and the change between these two graphs, the starting point only. The difference between these two graphs, the starting point. Okay, keep this in your mind. Then the answer, the first answer is wrong, because they have given that the object decreasing its velocity. It's wrong. The second answer, it's correct. Then the third answer, right, initially the velocity is decreasing, right, from the minus u it becoming 0 and again it's increasing. It's wrong, right? No situations which has been given in the question to reach the velocity as 0, right? And the fourth answer is constant velocity, right? It's totally wrong. Right? We'll move to question number 8 from 1990 O level, right? Which is the vector quantity. Right now you have, if you find the correct question, then the rest of 3 answers are going to be scalar quantities, right? Then length scalar, mass scalar, force vector, time scalar, right? Then the answer is force. Question number 9, which is correctly written unit of kilometers per hour, right? Kilometer per hour. This is the correct form. With the correct form, we'll discuss. Kilometer, right, with the gap, hour minus 1, or kilometer per hour. The answer is fourth. Okay, this kilo is a prefix. It cannot be a capital. Always the prefixes are going to be simple normally, right? Kilometer, here this is going to be simple, right? There should be a gap leave, no dots or commas can be written in between these two, right? No dots can be written, right? Only the gap should be shown. Okay, and the mistakes are in the answers. kmph, right? It's not the standard method of writing the kilometer per hour. kmph, you can see in the lorries, right? In the mudguards of the lorry, if you see from the back side, the lorry, they may be write like this, kmph as 40, right? This means the maximum velocity, the maximum speed this lorry can go with 40, right? To indicate that the kmph is given there, right? Kilometers per hour, but this is not the standard but form of writing the kilometer per hour, right? In the second answer, what is the wrong, right? Mark the wrongs. Kilometer, the K is given as capital, it's wrong, right? If you write the capital K, right, it means the unit of temperature, Kelvin, right? Then it's going to be wrong. The fourth one, capital K, is a wrong. The second wrong is the dot given there, unnecessary dot, right? The correct answer, the fourth answer, which is in this form. Okay, We move to the question from 1992. 1992 O level. Which is the correct velocity time graph for fruit falling from the tree? Fruit falling from the tree, which means the first situation that we discussed earlier, right? How it's going to be velocity time curve. The velocity is going to time it's going to increase with a uniform manner. Uniform acceleration is going to be there, starting with the initial velocity as 0, right? Because falling down means it's like dropping something, right? Then the velocity time graph is going to get the shape of this. The answer B. Right. Question number 11. The same from 1992 O level. SI unit of velocity is very easy. Meter second minus 1 or meter per second. SI unit of velocity. Go to question number 12. What is the correct conversion of 5 meter per second in kilometer per hour? Right. Unit conversion. This is an important part. Right. From 1993 O level. Unit conversion. 5 meter per second in kilometer per hour. 5 meter second minus 1 in kilometer hour minus 1. Right? When we are doing the unit conversion, right, just first step of the unit conversion should be like this. Right? First you have to write this in the numerator and the denominator, representing as numerator and the denominator. 5 meter per second means 5 meters in 1 second. That is the meaning of that. Right? So the second step, you have to convert the units which are in the numerator and the denominator, right, as the unit that they are required. You have to make this as kilometer and this as hour, right? Then you will get the the unit in the form of unit that they require, right? Now how you are going to make 5 meter as kilometer? Look at this. You know 1000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer, right? Now look at this. 1000 meter is equal to 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meter. Now what is happened here? The meter, this meter is here. This 1 is here. Instead of these 3 zeros, you have put kilo. Then if you want to cut off these 3 zeros, then you have to divide by 1000. Then only you can cut off these 3 zeros, right? Then if you want to make the meter into kilometer, then you have to divide by 1000, right? Then in short we can say from smaller to bigger, you have to divide, right? Look at this. What is happening here? This meter is there, this 1 is here, right? Instead of this k, you have put 1000 there, the 3 zeros there. And if you want to make it, then you have to multiply by 1000. Then you will get this number. Instead of this kilo, we can put this 1000, right? Then from big to small, small to big, but you have to divide. From big to small, you have to multiply, right? That's it. If you know one of these, then you can easily do that, right? From small to big, divide. That's it. That's enough, right? Then the vice versa is going to be big to small, multiply, right? This is the conversion from small to big. Then what you have to do? Divide, right? From what you have to divide? The multiple between these two units, What is the multiple between these two units? That is going to be 1000, right? Therefore 5 divided by 1000 is going to give you the kilometer value, divided by 1 second to hour. If you want to make 1 second, right, 1 second to hour, right, small to big, you have to divide. Dividing by 60 is going to give you this in the minute, right? By another 60, it's going to give you that value in the hour. Then this is going to give you the value of hour, right? Therefore this can be written 5 into, if this 60 goes up, 60 into 60 divided by 1000, this amount of kilometer hour minus 1. Right? Then the answer is going to be third. Right? 5 into 3600 or 3600, which is divided by 1000. Okay. Now from this question we can consider some prefixes. Normally if you start with the 0, lesser than the 0, more than the zeros, right? Less than the 0, more than the 0, right? Less than the 0, the 0 value, from the 0 value, right? The first value that we are considering normally as centimeter, right? Or the value which is related to 10 to the power of minus 2, right? Or in other words we can say, by taking the standard value which has been divided by 100 times, right? For an example, if you take 10 to the power of minus 3, right? 10 to the power of minus 2. If you take the take 1 meter, and if you divide that 1 meter by 100, right, 100 pieces, and 1 piece is going to be 1 centimeter, right? Then dividing the standard by 100, that is the first level. The second level dividing by 1000, third level divided by 10 to the power of minus 6, fourth level divided by 10 to the power of minus 9. That is enough, right? Standard value, the minimum standard is divided by 100. We are calling this level by giving a prefix of centi, right? This level is milli, this level is about micro, this level is about nano, right? 1 meter divided by 100 times, and if you take one part of that, is going to be centimeter, divided by 1000 times, and one part, if you consider one part is going to be millimeter, right? If 1000 10 to the power of 6 times, if you divide and take one part, is going to be micro, this is going to be nano. The symbol of centi is going to be simple C, that is the prefix. Symbol of milli is going to be simple M. Symbol of micro is going to be like this. Look at this. Align this and line like this and put a U, that is micro. Nano is simple n, right? This is the 0 level. Now if you go to the 10 to the power of 3 times, 10 to the power of 3 times of that 0 level, right? For an example, 1 meter, if you consider the 10 to the power of 3 times of 1 meter is going to be kilo. It's going to give you the prefix of kilo, right? That is going to be denoted as simple K. For the 10 to the power of 6, it's mega, right? It will be given in capital N. 10 to the power of 9 is giga. It will be given in the capital G. 10 to the power of 12 is tera. It will be given in the capital T, right? Kilometer, megameter, gigameter, terameter, right? When we are writing with the units, right, all the prefixes should be written very closer to the unit, okay, not leaving with the gap, right? Write it down and keep this in your mind, right? From here to here, if you are doing the conversion, then what is the meaning of that? From small to big. From small to big, what you have to do? You have to divide. From small to big, you have to divide. From here to here means big to small, and you have to multiply when we are doing the unit conversions. Multiplied by what? Multiplied by the multiple in between the two levels that we are considering. For an example, from the mega, if you want to go to centi, then you have to complete the 10 to the power of 6 to up to here and 10 to the power of 2 to here. Then altogether from the mega level to centi level, you have to consider the 10 to the power of 8 of values, right? If you want to change the mega by as centi, then you have to multiply by 10 to the power of 8, right? If you want to take the centi as mega, then you have to divide by the 10 to the power of 8. That's it. Okay, right. That is a question from 1993 O level. And the next question also, question number 13 also going from the paper, the O level paper 19 which held in 1993. Which statement from the following correctly describes the motion of the object as shown in the graph? Right, in the graph they have given that this is a velocity time graph. At the same time the velocity is decreasing and the decrement of the velocity is uniform, then the acceleration is going to be uniform acceleration. Right, hydrogen balloon at rest and projected upwards. Hydrogen balloon with rest. Hydrogen balloons mean the balloon which the people travels, that balloon is the hydrogen balloon, right? Or the balloon which has been filled up with the hydrogen gas, right? If you filled it up with the hydrogen gas, the hydrogen is very less weight, right? Because of the lower weight, right, lower density, right, it's going to float on the air, float in the normal air, right? Because when we are considering the atmospheric air, right, the hydrogen, the mass of the hydrogen is very less, right? Then it's going to float. Floats mean it's going to go up, right? If you leave it, then it will go up, right? If it is going up means, right, the velocity is increasing, right, when we are considered with the initial velocity, right? Then that is going to be that motion is going to show you the graph, the part of the graph like this, right? It's not like this. Here the velocity is decreasing, right? Then the first answer is wrong. A coconut detached from the stalk, right? When the coconut discharged from the stalk, then what is going to be happen? The velocity of the coconut is going to increase, but here the velocity is decreasing. A train comes to the rest from the motion. Train comes to the rest from the motion, right? The train which is in the motion is coming to the rest, can be, right? Velocity is going to decrease, and coming to the rest means the velocity becoming zero. Yes, it's good. The statement is good, right? Then the third answer may be correct. Not maybe, it's correct. A bottle rolling along an inclined plane, right? In an inclined plane, right, the bottle is rolling, right? Definitely the velocity is going to increase. Okay, then that is not the occasion, can be described by this graph, right? Then this graph is giving you the answer, the situation which is in the answer third. And the answer is going to be third answer, right? I'll stop here. Inshallah, the rest will be discussed in the next video. Jazakumullah khair. Barakallah.